just like minor nuances, minor annoyances to heavier annoyances to like things that would happen in real life that like the timing was just like always, on point and would fit the same patterns of other things going on, other deceptions and illusions in this world. Obviously being controlled by some unseen forces. Like there's the materialization. Have any of you ever experienced any of that where stuff just appears? And then like for me it appears a lot, like enough to like, let me know that there's something else fucking going on that I don't see. I took a lot of time to poke and prod at that. So maybe just me connecting with it has allowed that to be there more. Someone made a reference earlier that, man, people have been making some weird references to stuff that I've been thinking and seeing, and it's like a hive mind. Like, do the humans have a hive mind? Are they just being infected, or are they evil? Because they're pretty fucking evil, and it's like, is that just like an infection of sorts, an infection of the mind, where there's another influencing factor in many of these situations? Which, the way I understand, people were told they think like would lead to like even a further downward spiral, provoking the original fucking negativity, would only instill more, according to what I've read and all this shit. It's like if I have like some bad shit happen in my day, like the day's kind of over and shit, kind of like a downward spiral and shit once it hits. That's why I love waking up feeling so negative in the fucking morning. I would think that might be partially because caffeine, like withdrawal, gotta get that caffeine in. Might not want to speak before that's over. It's a pretty dangerous substance if that's the case. Pretty addictive too, because I don't quit. I'm just like told it's a background drug that everyone does it every day, so just keep doing it. But like what's going on? Is anyone else begin to figure any of this stuff out? Does anyone else like begin to see like what's going on in this world? That's like, you have people involved in politics, and that's really not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about, there's like no word for it. You could say religion or spirituality. It might tie into some small extent, but I don't think so. There's some sort of other control grid on this planet. It's not like, beautiful, loving creator forgives his child, and then they go to get ice cream together, and then, something like that. It's, there's something else going on in this world. It's hard to not classify most beings as some sort of demon when you interact with like the one consciousness, because you're like, wait a minute, they all like understand this shit, they all understand what each of them are doing and shit. Do I not access this hive mind as well, or is that why I'm so intelligent? Like, do we all access like a different part of the hive mind, and I just access the intellectual part of it? Hey, some crazy theory like that would explain why they've been in my life my whole life, wouldn't it? It's crazy how all these stories in this world kind of like revolve around like aspects of my life and shit too. But I know there's something going on. I just don't know what it is, to what extent. And I test people. And there's one group who's scared of me. They're scared of me. I can tell a lot. They're scared. Maybe they're just scared of everything, though. And that's just like their natural tendency. So it could mean nothing at all. I mean, from the shit I see some of them doing, like, what are they scared of? They can do what they want, and they will do what they want. But like, what's going on in this world? What are these positions of power and their control overs doing? What is like the purpose of COVID hoax? An elaborate hoax to be played upon me alone? Or is it really a hoax being played upon billions of people? Like I don't care. I'm not saying it's even a fake virus, because look at these people, man. Why would they use a fake virus unless everyone's just a demon and they're all playing a game on me? And then you're like, haha, look, we didn't actually kill any of ourselves off. Fucking. Or some shit like that. But what are these systems of control, and who's running them, and why? Like, what's their purpose? They have all these crazy stories. They have millions of religions and millions of Nancy Drew books and thousands of Stephen King books and shit. Don't take Nancy Drew as I looked that person up to see who that is. I was just talking about a book in general. How they got all these stories, right? All, once upon a time the fucking knight slayed the dragon and shit. And then he ruled the kingdom. Amen. Happily ever after. Amen. All that. Who are these people? What is it? What is their purpose? What's all this control they gotta have? What's all the deception they gotta have? What's all the manipulation? And is the fear tied into that stuff? Because if the fear is real, then the deception and the manipulation is negative in its birthplace. I mean, it's probably negative either way in its birthplace, right? But it's like negative and can be overcome. For fear doesn't exist except for where it needs to exist. Unless it's programmed there one way or the other. I mean, I really don't see much fear in what's going on with some of these joints, huh? Like, who just bombed Beirut? I wonder. Let me think about that. Maybe it was the Smurfs. Maybe the Smurfs bombed Beirut. Okay? Which is odd. Again, the Smurfs have a connotation to their little story. It was the French. It was a story from the French talking about America. Yeah, like, it's odd because you got Papa Smurf and the red KKK hat and that wizard hat, and then everyone else in the normal ones, and old balding Gargamel chasing the Smurfs around. And then the Smurf was blonde as well. The Smurfette was blonde. They say it's an anti-Semitic cartoon. That's what I looked at. Wow, I was programmed with that shit as a kid, huh? I don't know if anyone else cares that they're a slave. But I'm not good at it, man. Like, I gotta find a better role in life than to be a slave because I just suck at it. I'm not good at that. I'll fuck everything up. And so, like, I'm naturally, like, avoidance of such a thing, but I'm just not good at being fucking locked in a fucking cage, even if it is the size of fucking Earth. Which, is it the size of Earth? Because I keep getting told differently. I'm locked in America. I'm not locked in America. I look again, it still says I'm locked in America. Other people are like, yeah, you're locked in America. And then I talk to other people, and they're like, you're not locked in America. And it's like, at this point, like, I'm just going to quit looking it up, and I'm going to assume everyone telling me I'm not locked in America is lying to me. Because I swear, when I looked, like, in February, it said something about being locked in here. And then news articles are saying they don't want USA citizens in there, but I believe anything in America is fake. So if the media says it, like, I believe the opposite. Like, well, they're probably not saying they don't want us in their nations or something. But I think one of those or two of those levers of power I mentioned in that pyramid, I think they're destroying this place, and I think they're sick of it and what it's done. And I think it's probably not safe to be here. Like, people are being enslaved here as if they always weren't. They're just doing it more. They're doing it to each other as if they always weren't. They're just doing it a lot more and a lot more in the open. I don't know what's up, but I can tell you, I got far enough to understand that there could be those positions of power, and there's some other shit going on. Because, like, if you think you know what's going on in this world, then I can assure you, you've got, like, years of unlearning to do before you can learn what's going on in this world. Before you can begin to learn what's going on in this world. Because there's the material world, there's material earth, and then there's something else. There's something else around us. And it, as far as what we're told, material and space is, there's, or science is, there's, like, things that they're doing that aren't spoken of and don't line up with the current level of education science, which is ran by them, tells us about. So what's going on in this world? What is the point of this stuff going on around us? What's the point of all this stuff in 2020? Like, look, you can see it's all a deception. You can see it's all fake. Can anyone actually process what that means? Like everyone's all like, oh, Trump's gonna save us. Like, no, dude, Trump's not, like, telling you anything about this stuff. Trump's not telling you, like, hey, it's a fake virus, or like, they're trying to kill you with the virus. He's just like, who knows? He's probably playing golf or something. Why would he waste his time on you guys? Like, he doesn't really care. He's lying. He's went back on, like, so much shit. I mean, he's of course going to do some things, and then you can't even trust when the media says that shit anyways, because what else are they lying about? They're not, like, the Republican media is like a gatekeeper. Like, you get smart enough to not be a liberal, and then they're like, hey, look, this is for people smart enough to not be liberals, and you're like, yep, that's for me. And that's, like, where it ends. It's like gatekeeping. It's like for people old enough to get through the politics of season 1. People capable of it. And I mean, I guess technically you could go about it either way you want. You could wake up at any point during that and see what's required to see that. But that's generally like the thing. Like, they just have these nets, and if you fall through one net, they have another net, and then they have other nets below that, and they have other nets below those nets. So that just like seems to be the order it would be in. It's been said before as well. Not talking about that stuff directly, but just talking about how liberals graduated to Republicans and stuff like that. It's probably more common than the opposite. But I guess maybe it depends on what you were raised as and stuff. You probably start somewhere new there and then break through that and then think the other side is like the honest side because the one side was lying to you, the other side must not be. But it is kind of like child's humor and just ignorance, like. But then again, they do that on the Republican side too. Like, there's the Orange Man, and then there's Michelle Obama. You know. So they kind of just, play it back and forth every 4 years or something. Every election cycle where they're going to change the puppet or the position. It's calling calling Trump a puppet is like assuming he's being played and he's not playing you, and that makes you the puppet because you're being danced around on the string. So calling Trump a puppet makes you a puppet. Like, I say that word, I call him a puppet because like other people understand it, but really, or is he really just a puppet? Like, you can't just be like, oh, he's a puppet and he's misled. It's like, he could just be good at lying to you. Maybe that's his birth talent. Fucking is lying. But we're gonna end this video. You have those positions of power. You have what I see going on Earth. A highly detailed introspection of the overlay of the actions and inactions of the living beings, sentient beings, supposedly, who compromise the system. And we could get further into talking about the patterns that make this stuff seeable if you can't see those patterns. But they're generally easy to see. You just interact with so many people and you can begin to see the patterns. I guess you got to interact with a lot of people, and if you're like in the middle of nowhere, you might never get to interact with like a few hundred people on a yearly basis. Although the internet has probably helped. I can read people through the internet. And in fact, I wonder, like, what's going on? What is the internet? How many of those accounts are real and shit like that? Because there's definitely a lot of shady underground shit on the net. Like, a lot of the right-wing stuff is, like, people don't have, like, any identifiable information to even attempt to prove that they're a real person and not just a bot. Like, David Icke's account could be like 10,000 bots, or 10,000 employees running like 20 bots each, something like that. And that would line up with unidentifiable accounts. But supposedly some of y'all just don't want to be identified, and that's fine. And that's why I set forth to do this stuff, because I don't really care. I kind of want to die, so I don't really have anything to live for. So it makes me the perfect candidate to be dumb enough to talk about this shit. And like, it's a fucking, like I was built for it or something. And I don't really fear death, so. Even if there was like a day I didn't want to die. I don't really fear. I had night terrors when I was a kid. That was interesting. Fucking kind of like to experience them again to see if I could like learn to control it or something, or if it would still even do anything to me. The way 2020 is looking, we're about to experience some day terrors too. Fucking, who knows what they're about to unfold? Some sort of zombie apocalypse or some shit. They talked about zombies a lot, and I was always like, why is everything zombie? Like, this is getting old. Like, every fucking thing is zombie, zombie, zombie. Like, and zombies are cool. Just don't wear them out. And they fucking, like, put them out there. Like, it's just like a constant reminder that there's going to be zombies someday or some shit. And look, they're probably setting people up with this COVID and this fucking vaccine and shit. They're gonna fucking inject people with some shit. And what's it gonna do to them, man? A whole bunch of test shit from some evil people, some evil lying scumbags. Man, that would be fucked up. But what else are they doing all these lies and deceptions for? Then again, at the same time, I'm seeing all these window boards removed from windows, and I don't see any broken fucking windows. Maybe they got the window replaced fucking 8 weeks later, 30 weeks later, whatever it is. I don't know. But, you know, I kind of solved a lot of the riddles of Earth. Like, that is quite to say that there probably any riddle put here has probably been solved, and it's probably just a joke, a fabrication. That it's something. I mean, maybe some things still haven't been like figured out yet. But I think like on an upper level, like, they have more knowledge, so you're really not figuring shit out. Like, they kill one of the dudes related to making the internet great, and they supposedly killed him because he was gay. But it's like, looking back, it's like, well, maybe he just stumbled upon some technology that they didn't really want anyone to have, so they just killed people. But I'm gonna close this video. Fucking, it's getting long. So, you know, if you got any thoughts or experience with this shit, if you can, like, think for yourself. I'm not really saying that, like, you know, fucking, you know, sarcastically. Like, I mean, maybe there is some sort of fucking condition here. Maybe there is some underlying, and people are saying, like, some people are saying that it's a hive mind. It's like there's some sort of underlying thing like that, you know? Like, you gotta make fun of people with a hive mind? That sounds dangerous and shit. Like, I wouldn't make fun of them. I don't think so, unless they're bad people. But, you know, tricksters and problem makers and shit. Then, I'm just gonna close the video. Fucking. So, think about that shit. Have you ever experiencing that shit? Have you ever seen any of these patterns? What do you know about this world and what's happening in it? Because I don't know shit. So, maybe other people can help me figure it out a little more.